Welcome to the second occurrence of Reading from Memory. I just want to say, honestly, this is a very selfish endeavor, and you'll see why in a moment. I never imagined when I met Sue last summer that I'd be standing here in the Cranston Senior Enrichment Center a year later, about to introduce the second cohort of memoir writers. I'll always be grateful to you for taking that leap of faith. This workshop came into being because of my preoccupation with voice. I believe that all of you have a voice, and I believe that anyone who wants to express his or her voice has a right to, and that it's important to. And I'm also very interested in memories. They're fluid and they're magical, and they are how we shape our stories to make meaning of our lives. We talk and we listen, we read and we write, we are present for each other. Hands down, this was always the best moment of my week. So I was overjoyed when there was enough interest to hold the workshop again this spring. And now it is with great pleasure and humility that I present to you the second cohort of gifted rememberers and writers.
My name is Joan Elizabeth Ann Pryor. You know the Full House my husband and I talked about while we were playing cards at Beavertail? Well, we were delighted for two pairs, two girls, Joanne, Queen of Hearts, Maureen, Queen of Diamonds, two boys, Jack of Clubs, Patrick, Jack of Spades. Although he wanted to be called the Joker, he said when he read this. My experiences in the memoir class are very interesting. Sarah, our instructor, gives us a voice, and we have our own voice. Sometimes we write for 10 minutes, and then we just continue writing, and she says, time's up. Yep. And we want to keep writing. But that's a great thing.
My name is Shirley Howe. Upon returning me home after having some refreshments, he walked me to the front door. We said our thank yous and talked about the movie a little. Then he said goodnight and leaned over and kissed me ever so lightly on my lips. It is the most memorable kiss of my life. His lips are so soft, you feel as if yours have been brushed by the finest of velvets, so rich and sweet all at the same time. No other kiss had ever felt this way. I said thank you once again, and with my heart pounding and every fiber of my being tingling, I floated on air into the house, all the while wondering if my feet would ever touch the ground again. I was falling and falling fast. The process is taking time to be quiet within yourself and to really think about what has happened in the past. Sarah gives us prompts, she gives us suggestions, but in the end it is up to the writer. And you just have to really think about what you felt at the time, what was happening around you, what could you smell, what could you see, what could you hear. You just have to encompass everything that's going on in your life at that point. This is a wonderful thing to do for yourself. Many ladies do not take time to do anything just for themselves. And this is a very good creative outlet to enjoy. And we find that we all call it our therapy session. And it's well worth doing.
My name is Ann Gale Cunningham Mitchell. As Annie and Dr. Hogan approached the parking lot of Lying In Hospital, a car skidded into a huge snowbank. The jolt was enough to have an 8-pound, 9-ounce baby girl with jet black hair delivered in the back seat of Dr. Hogan's 1939 blue Plymouth. I've gotten so much out of this class that I did not think I was capable of doing. First of all, the concentration, and it's been wonderful. I've laughed and I've also cried with some of my stories, so it's been good for me.
My name is Deborah Smith.
We finished lunch and headed to the cabin for our 1-hour nap. I believe that was so the counselors could get a break. Before the hour was up, my cousin and I were starting to itch very badly. We expected the itching, but the swelling was another matter. We couldn't wait until the rest hour was finally over, and we asked the counselor if we could go to the infirmary. There was absolutely no reason to go into detail.
When I got the Cranston Senior Center newsletter, looking through it, I saw the ad for a class for memory writing, and I thought, memoir writing, and I thought that I would like to do that. I'd always wanted to try writing, but I thought that this class would help me hone my skills. I would say to anybody watching, even if you don't think that you have a knack for writing, you do have memories, and coming to this class will help you draw those memories out and put pen to paper, and you can see for yourself that you have the ability to write what is in your background or what is in your mind.
Well, I get to hear wonderful stories, but I think the most important thing for me is watching people one by one come into their own. For some reason, people come to this workshop thinking they can't write, not being sure they have anything to say. And when they leave, by the time they leave, they know that they have their own voice, they have their own story, and they know how to shape it. And then they share it, and then what they receive in return is this incredible validation, like we had today. A full house of people listening to their stories. The purpose of a prompt is to make, to open the door to your imagination and to your memory. It's very hard, nigh impossible, to sit down and have someone say, okay, right. That's a terrible thing to do to someone. So by bringing in prompts, I'm trying to help sort of narrow the field. And a prompt doesn't have to generate writing that is actually about that prompt. By the time they have written 10 minutes, the ladies often are writing about something else. Gail's story about the snowstorm and actually the story of her birth started as a prompt, tell me, write about your first name. And so you never know where a prompt will go. Write about your first kiss, write about, write a list of 100 things you remember. It's just a way to start your pen moving across the paper, because that's the momentum your mind needs and the freedom your mind needs to go back into where it's going to generate memory and story. Come to the memoir writing workshop, because even if you don't know what your story is, I can help you find it, and we'll have fun doing it.